Welcome back to another episode of OverSoul Overland, where we explore the wilderness within while traversing this beautiful wilderness we know to be our inheritance. Join us today as we reapproach Cherokee National Forest and its rich beauty. Happy New Year, and just like many of you, we've set out to explore and make the most of a new day. Today we will be revisiting Witt Road in Cherokee. As many of you know, Witt Road is known for its 3 rather large water crossings. It's a fun place to really test your off-roading mechanics and see some beautiful scenery in the rich mountains of Tennessee. So there's no better place to start the new year than with a few technical challenges and some rustic beauty from the hills of our homeland. Now, as many of you know, the rig that we run in is a Hummer H2. It's one of the 13,000 SUTs, so it's got a truck bed instead of the full SUV back. And this thing's got all of the options with the transfer case and all the time 4-wheel drive. So although this thing rides like a Cadillac off-road, I assure you there are some spots here that if you don't have a lift and you don't know what you're doing, you probably shouldn't attempt when the water levels are high, because the water can move fast. Now, we've got a few other advantages, like the gross weight of our vehicle is well over 7,000 pounds, so it takes a lot to move us downstream. So as we wind through these hills, we're looking forward to a new adventure. And with every adventure, there's always something that goes wrong. So as we continue around the corner, watch out, because the Hummer does somehow manage to get stuck in a river. Don't worry, we get out, it takes a little bit of a fight. For those of you who know the area, you can tell the water level's really high because in that first area, only the first section is normally a water crossing. So with the second hump there, you could see that the water's up quite a bit. And remember how I was telling you adventures always have something weird going on? We get to the next big water crossing and we see this guy starting to turn around, which usually is a red flag that there's something on the other side to be wary of. In this case, it was his lack of a lift kit. So no worries, and smooth sailing through the beautiful scenery. As you can see, we just go for it, and we're confident because we've crossed this before and we watched them come back. So we knew how high the water would be in the deepest spot and had no trouble. But on the other side, it was rather washed out and rutted. It looks like someone had spun out a little bit, and that's what intimidated the other folks. So naturally, we just shift down, take a quick peek, and muscle on through. Even if you know you have the clearance, there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking it slow, because sometimes things just aren't what they seem. But in this case, again, the Hummer handles beautifully and it's smooth sailing yet again into the deep reaches of the woods. And it gets exciting when you know that other folks had to turn around, because you're going to see a different part that's a little less touched and a lot more beautiful. This stage, we're really enjoying it. My cameraman's hanging on and we're having a great time. We've conquered 2 of the 3 water crossings, and as promised, things are about to get a little hairy. So as we splash through these next couple of puddles, we come up on the final large water crossing. And as you can see from the camera here, you can't see any issue with the crossing. It's a shorter crossing. We're still taking our time. Everything's great. And then it's not. So again, from another angle. Glare is perfectly positioned over the hole. We don't see it. We're having a good time, easing our way through it. And all of a sudden, we're at an angle. So the first reaction is always the muscle out. As you can see, we didn't move. So I begin to panic, but before I fully panic, I roll down the window, look out, see that, okay, my engine is above the water, my air intake is on the other side, I'm okay. So I begin to shift through the settings, trying to get a little bit of traction, to no avail. So at this point, we start to get creative, and I ask my cameraman to scoot to the back seat. So he muscles his way back. We've got a little bit of weight near the back end. I've shifted to a more low setting where, although there's power going to the wheels, it's not going quickly, so that hopefully I can get a little bit of grip. And I begin to wiggle the tire and the wheel back and forth, and we're starting to get a little bit of traction. We try again. No luck. Still a little high on the back end. At this point, I check the phone and I'm like, okay, we've definitely got no service. It's time to pray. Throw up a prayer to Jesus real quick and reassess. this moment, the clouds are rolling in. The panic's really setting in, and I'm like, okay, I've got to give this one more go. I throw it back into, I believe, 4 high here. I'm in first gear, and we try one last time before totally freaking out and abandoning the vehicle. Wiggle the wheel back and forth, get a little bit of traction, notice we're moving, cut the wheel hard to the right, and we are out. Now that's the first time I've gotten stuck solo. I don't have a winch. I usually just have a shovel and things to clear the trail so that I can dig myself out. So this was definitely an adventure to remember. Now, the lesson here is even if you know the trail, even if you know your truck, even if you have everything going perfectly right and you know you're going to make it out, you can still panic and make a silly mistake. So remember, stay cool, stay calm, take your time. Most of these things can be resolved. Fortunately for us, all of these water crossings had a solid bottom, so it wasn't ever an issue of sinking deeper. It was just a matter of getting traction. So be careful with your water crossings with soft bottoms. You're going to be in a whole world of trouble if you try to just floor it and muscle out. So at this point, we think we've made it all the way through everything that can go wrong. We're rejoicing, and we roll down a window to take some beautiful shots of the creek. And the window will not go back up, and the storm clouds are still coming. So to all my Hummer owners, you know what this means. This isn't a trailside repair. This is a go home and make sure you've got the tools for it type situation. So we do the best we can to keep going down the trail and explore the beautiful scenery on the way back home, where we're going to give the truck some much needed love and work out our own salvation with fear and trembling. Just so grateful that we made it out of that okay, and very happy to have that experience, because you see these things all the time and it's totally different when you're in the driver's seat. So thank you for joining us on another episode of OverSoul, and let's see where this road is going to lead us as we mosey on out of Cherokee National Forest. With the new year off to a good start and our worries in the rearview mirror, we progress down the trail and muscle our way out of the forest. So if you've enjoyed the unique camera footage and switching between dash cam and iPhone footage on 4K, please leave a comment and tell us what you liked. My cameraman loves that type of feedback and wants to improve. He's volunteering and helping me out as a friend, and I appreciate it a ton. So, without further ado, thank you so much for taking some time to watch another episode of OverSoul Overland, and feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and check out some of our other content. It's always a beautiful journey.